Hello everybody, this is Arne Koets here aus de Kemenate in Laugröden, middle of Germany. And today I've been joined by Carlijn de Jong from Stichting Langenort, a Dutch HEMA group. And we thought it was funny to just get on both my horses and just have a go with Rodenswasters fencing each other from horseback. So because there's a lot that went on and we filmed it, we thought we'd stick it together, maybe somebody might be interested. And of course, if we're explaining what goes on, where we hit each other, where we screwed up, where we got the position wrong, it helps to know who's who. I'm on the grey horse, so the white one, for those of you who are not familiar with the terminology, and that is an Andalusian gelding called Maximilian. The other horse, the stallion, is more a gold color, it's called Donalino, and that's a Lusitano stallion called Sultan, and that's ridden by Carlijn, who of course hasn't ridden this horse for years and only ridden it once before, so she doesn't really know it very well. And I'm taking good advantage of my advantage there that I know these horses. Anyway, let's get into it and we'll just explain kind of what goes on. So here you see her come from the left. I'm behind there on the grey horse and she's in my left side, so she's in my death corner. That's where I'm badly defended. So I'm speeding up to get out of her way, take the outside corner, and then I make this left turn when I have enough space, lead changing, and then I defend, trying to strike at her head, and then unfortunately my horse kind of stalls, so she stabs me in the back. Not very hard though. And then I'm coming in, and here I need to do a lead change to make sure that I have her on my right flank, and then I thrust at her, and then I strike again to her head from behind, kind of wrapping her weapon, coming around, keeping her weapon up with a cron position, and then again, kind of following her down. She makes her turn, but she's kind of out of position, a bit on the forehand. So I have all the opportunity to then lift it up and try to put the pommel behind her wrist. I very nearly pulled the sword out of her hands, and I didn't really want to do that. I think the point was made. You can see that it's through her hand there. Also, you can actually pull people off a horse that way. So now I need to speed up because she ended up on my left. So by having that speed, I can do it, but then I need to put outside leg on to keep the horse connected through the turn, and then turn again, and then again. Try to get that strike. She actually hit my cross guard there. So, and I'm behind her, lift over the horse's head, try to work around it, but the distance was too big, and then I'm coming around here, and again, keeping the guards up, not necessarily striking much, but everybody's alive there, so, and now trying to get into the middle and stab. Let's see that again. So, you see that I'm kind of in a distance, and she thinks the distance is slightly bigger, actually coming away from me, and then I just thrust through with, because her sword is stationary enough for me to do that. I actually kind of hit her fairly nicely. I was going to go on. Now, here again, we start with a very similar technique. I use a lot of upsets in this, which is shown in Talhofer. And there we go, again, left turn to go into right turn, and then from there I try to do a shield how. That's a shield how into her head with a short edge, which landed quite nicely. And again, I try to use a lot of lead changes to change the direction in which I do the passado or repolonian. And here again, we're just kind of having an exchange that is very indecisive, where the horses go back and forth. We end up in the corner here. I managed to somehow mostly keep control over the weapons, and then strike her in the back as she starts riding off. But I was chasing her down. So repolonian is going back and forth and turning around in a small spot and then re-engaging. Here I'm trying to keep the center of the area secure and behind her, and then she turns and I turn inside her and then upwards like that. So that's why we call it the death corner. I of course then neglect to defend myself again because I was too worried of my horse stalling again like I did before. So I died twice. And there's another upsetsen. I think that one connected. And I managed to cover the afterblow. And there, what happens next? So chasey. And then she goes over there. I already cut her off because I assumed that. And then I struck to her head, but she struck down hard enough that I had to schnappen around it. And what we got here? So another few of those exchanges. I end up in cron a lot, trying to just control the weapons up. And then here we end up there. And I just struck at the end and we all stopped. So there you have it. That's our endless ranting about what we thought we did and what we saw we did afterwards. And there you see, we had a little fight as a compliment to the cavalry, bringing some style to what was otherwise be a vulgar brawl. So yes, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it's interesting to you guys. It's just us having a bit of fun and experimenting and playing around. And I think you can see a lot of things happening and a lot of little tactics that are mentioned in various places and so forth. Of course, it's very quick to try and put all these words to what happens without making it extremely long. So there's all sorts of manuscripts that describe this kind of tactics, that describe this kind of techniques and this kind of situations. And it's just a very different type of thinking once you're on a horse and you need to steer the horse as well as the fencing itself. And it makes a sense of urgency, shall we say. So thank you very much and see you next time.